Eating nutrient-rich foods is really important, and most of the time during the week we eat vegetables basically fixed plain because we don't want to add a lot of fats or salts to them, and they taste really good and they look beautiful. But on certain occasions we want to dress them up a little bit, and I'm going to do that with broccoli today with a broccoli and pecan casserole. To get started, I'm going to start the heat going here, and I've got a steamer insert in my pan. I'm going to add 2 cups of water. And we're going to bring that up to a boil, and while we're waiting for that to happen, I have 4 cups of broccoli florets. Now if you wanted to use the stems along with this, just peel them and go ahead and use them as well. You could use some of the leaves also. This is all going to be in a casserole dish, so it's not going to be seen per se. It's going to be a little bit disguised. Also with this, I've got a half a cup of chopped red bell pepper. Now this is about half of a medium to large red bell pepper, so you can snack on the other half for lunch. I'm going to bring this up to a boil, have a lid on it, and let it steam about 5 minutes because we only want to partially cook them at this point. We're going to put them in the oven and finish them off there later. After those 5 minutes, look how pretty those look, and they're just going to stay like that, even though we're going to disguise them with a little bit of sauce. I want to drain them off really well, and I'm just going to go ahead and get the entire basket out of there and let it drain as well, because I need to use this pan again to start working on the sauce. I want to dry it off really well, and then I'm going to put it back on the heat. We should have a low heat here, and I have a tablespoon of margarine or butter, whichever one you have available to you, and get that melted. And while that's melting over here, I'm going to go ahead and do the next step on the vegetables on the other side of the place here. What I've got here is beautiful color that maintains a lot of the nutrition because we've kept that color with it. Now don't try and distribute everything so it looks perfect in the pan at this point because we're going to stir it together some more. To this I'm going to add half a cup of pecan halves. If you don't have halves, you could use chopped pecans, but the pecan halves themselves make it really, really nice as it is there. Okay, come back over here. Our margarine is just about melted, and we're going to stir in a couple of more ingredients to that. I have 2 tablespoons of a real sharp horseradish. Now, if you have been disappointed in broccoli because it doesn't have a lot of zing to it, this should help you with that. And then 1/4 cup of reduced fat mayonnaise. Now, if you don't have reduced fat, you might want to try some of the olive oil mayonnaise that's available now. It doesn't reduce the fat content, but it does change the fat profile, and that can be an advantage as well. We're going to stir those together in a minute, but I also want to sprinkle over our vegetables about 1/4 teaspoon of salt, which is optional, and 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. And again, we're going to stir those together in a few minutes, so don't worry about it a great deal. Now come back over here, and we're going to stir together this sauce and just get that blended nicely. I think I can turn my heat off because everything is well melted. And when those are stirred together, we're going to pour that over the top of our vegetable mixture. And you don't need to try and distribute it evenly across the top. We're going to stir it on. Get that all in there. And just stir this together. Now you'll need to have an oven preheating to 350 degrees, and this is about a 2-quart saucepan. You could do this in a bowl if you chose to, but this seems to work just as well, and it saves getting another dish dirty. So get everything coated, and over the top of that, well, first I'm going to wipe down that pan a little bit so it looks a little bit better and it doesn't scorch in the oven quite as much. Get the edges wiped down. Over the top of that, I have 1/4 cup of dry breadcrumbs, 2 tablespoons of Parmesan cheese, and then 1 more tablespoon of margarine. And this we're just going to kind of dot across the top. And then this is going to go in your 350 degree preheated oven for 20 to 25 minutes. Oh, this smells wonderful. As you can see, we've got a lot of browning now. The cheese is melted somewhat. And when we dig in here, you get those pecans, which have softened just a little bit. And you still have some of that bright red from the red pepper. It's just a great alternative way to serve broccoli. I hope you and your family will try this one. It's broccoli and pecan casserole. For Oklahoma Gardening, this is Barbara Brown.